Last week was crazy. Cedar Point practically coming out of nowhere, announcing a brand new roller coaster for the 2025 season. Well, now that some time has passed, more information has been revealed, allowing us to better understand this situation. Siren's Curse will be a tilt coaster from Vekoma. This roller coaster was originally planned for Energylandia in Poland, but the park canceled the project last minute. Six Flags jumped at the opportunity to get their hands on a tilt coaster, so they purchased the ride and had all intentions of bringing it to Six Flags Mexico. Track pieces were being sent down to the park until the project was brought to a standstill. Disputes started between the local community, Six Flags Mexico, and the government, forcing Six Flags Entertainment to cancel the project and send this coaster off to another home. Well, for unknown reasons, Cedar Point was chosen as this coaster's new home, and Siren's Curse is now under construction, aiming for an early summer opening. A few days ago, I made an analysis video on this coaster, saying how this looks to be an amazing coaster, but had a couple concerns with the lack of theming and overall ride capacity. Before having the full picture, I could tell that this coaster didn't feel like it belonged at Cedar Point or wasn't originally aimed for Cedar Point, now that we know that yes, Siren's Curse was built with another theme park in mind. Well, I thought it would be fun to discuss a few other Six Flags properties and why they could have been a better fit. Before we get to that, first do me a favor and click on that like button. Newcomers to my channel, if you love theme parks and roller coasters, be sure to subscribe. So first thing, let's discuss why I think Cedar Point was chosen as its new home. Number one, that would be the Top Thrill 2 debacle. Cedar Point had all intentions of opening Top Thrill 2 with the park back in early May, which they did. But of course, they didn't foresee the ride being closed for the rest of the year, while Zamperla worked on an undisclosed issue with a train design. Introducing another roller coaster for the 2025 season is a bold step and feels like an apology from management. I'm sure that they're hoping guests will overlook the 2024 season and gaze their eyes on a new horizon. And that horizon has two roller coasters. The second reason, it seems like Six Flags was in a hurry to get this coaster built. So instead of delaying the process until 2026, they most likely picked a park that was capable of building a new roller coaster under a time constraint. Contrary to popular belief, Cedar Point has more land available to use, which is why they were able to clear out a plot of land in between Valraven and Millennium Force before anyone knew what was going on. From what I understand, Cedar Point has an excellent relationship with their local community/government, so moving through all the red tape would be an easier process. This isn't a reason, but I'm wondering if the new Six Flags Entertainment is showing their cards with this move, saying that they will favor the legacy Cedar Fair parks over the original Six Flags properties. We know that the CEO of Cedar Fair is now the CEO of this new corporation, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Again, this is just all random theories. We really don't know the main reason as to why Cedar Point was picked. I'm sure there was a lot of things that went into consideration when picking the right place to build this tilt coaster. Alright, with all these reasons I just listed, what other parks could have been a solid choice for Siren's Curse? A pretty obvious one would be traveling a few hours south to Kings Island. They might have gotten a new roller coaster in 2024 with Snoopy's Soapbox Racers, but that was a family coaster. Kings Island has a ton of land to work with, including undeveloped and plots that used to hold other attractions. Once Vortex was removed at the end of 2019, that plot has remained vacant. 2018 and 2019 were rather depressing years as we saw the demise of two prominent roller coasters. Firehawk was replaced by Orion, but Vortex lay in its grave with nothing yet to replace it. If Six Flags was looking to move fast, I feel like Kings Island could have accommodated this quick timetable, but again, I don't know all the logistics of this situation. Another legacy Cedar Fair that makes great sense, Carowinds. Their last major roller coaster was Copperhead Strike back in 2019. The park was in a renaissance of sorts, with new rides and attractions being added every year since the early 2010s. The park continues on with expansion. Last year was the Aeronautical Landing, and next year will be the Camp Snoopy. Now, I'm not 100% familiar with their property line, but I do know that they have an abandoned River Rapids ride that is located in between Fury 325 and the amphitheater. It looks to be more than enough space to build a tilt coaster, but again, I don't know what would need to go into prepping that chunk of land. Nonetheless, I feel like the Carowinds would make a better home. They are a growing park that could use another roller coaster. It's no secret that once you venture outside of their top 4 roller coasters, the quality takes a pretty decent dip. Knott's Berry Farm would also be a great home, as this park hasn't built a thrill coaster since 2018 with Hang Time. A tilt coaster would really make a statement and it would draw in the crowds. The real question though is, where would you put it? Knott's is landlocked with not much to work with, so more than likely this park would need a coaster with a custom layout to meet their needs. So yeah, taking a off the shelf or a coaster that was already designed for another park probably wouldn't work for them. Other Cedar Fair legacy parks that haven't got a new coaster in some time, well, there's Michigan's Adventure, but I highly doubt we'll see any traction there. Valley Fair has been in need of a new roller coaster, but that call continues to go unanswered. If we start to take a look at legacy Six Flags properties, I see a lot of potential. Six Flags Darien Lake, just outside of Buffalo, New York, hasn't had a brand new roller coaster since Tantrum back in 2018. As far as I'm aware, they have the land to work with, but the problem here is that Six Flags doesn't own the property. They only manage it. Unless Six Flags Entertainment buys this whole property, I doubt that they would drop a major investment like a tilt coaster. Outside of Baltimore, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., Six Flags America is another great coaster contender. This park hasn't seen a new coaster, not some just hand-me-down, since Batwing back in 2001. Six Flags America has the demand and the property, so just curious what's stopping them from pulling the trigger. A Six Flags park that feels to be on a downtrend that could really use some course correction, Six Flags Over Texas. I continue to hear negative things, which is a shame because this is the original Six Flags park. What better way to get things back on track than building a tilt coaster? Only question though, I don't know their land situation, which might have been a factor in the decision. There's also a couple other parks that could use some more love, like Six Flags St. Louis, Frontier City, and Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. With California's Great America set to close at the latest of 2033, Discovery Kingdom will be the only major theme park in Northern California. A tilt drop coaster at any of these parks would definitely make a statement and instantly become their new marquee attraction. Well, those are some options, but in the end, the decision has been made, and Cedar Point will be the home to Siren's Curse. I, for one, think this will be a great addition, even if it shares some similarities with Valraven. Cedar Point will now have 18 roller coasters, getting them one step closer to taking back the record of the most roller coasters in one park. Who knows, maybe that's part of the reason. Could we be seeing more roller coasters coming year over year at the Point? Tell me in the comments. Until next time, this is X Screen Thrills.